What is up? It is episode number 6 of the Omaha Dreams podcast, hosted by
Brendan Young, career 300 high school hitter, 0-star baseball recruit, your in-house baseball expert, and Connor Heilman, the all-time leader in Little League walks.
So today, we are going to start off with a little bit of social media madness. Then we're going to move to the weekend recap for week 4. We have our top weekend performers, and then we will move to top 25 movement. There's some stuff that happened that we want to talk about. Midweek preview for week 5. Then we have 3 more conference previews today. We're almost closing out on that. And then we're going to end our show. So let's start with social media madness. I'm going to let you go first here.
No, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go first. So the first thing I have is, my social media post of the week was by Rob Friedman, Pitching Ninja, on Twitter. And it is during the Michigan-Louisville game. You can't see anything.
That was going to be mine.
Was it?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have let me go first. The tweet just says, just throw strikes, kid. And snow's coming down.
It's like a blizzard.
Yeah, it looks terrible. But
no wonder they suspended that game.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could go with another one.
All right, go ahead.
So I don't know which day it was. It was when UNC was playing Pitt, and the 1 inning Pitt struck out the one UNC player.
Okay.
And while he was walking back to the dugout, he was rocking the baby.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and then
awesome.
The next inning, or it's either the next inning or later on in the game, one UNC player hit a tank, and as he rounds third base, and the third base coach looks over at the pitcher and he starts rocking the baby.
The coach?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's wild. So some madness I want to talk about. Kyle Schaefer, I guess he's a Marshall player. He quote tweeted Marshall Baseball's tweet that was, tonight's game has been paused in the top of the 10th inning due to darkness. It will be resumed on Sunday, time, TBA, whatever. So Kyle tweeted, so embarrassing. That's all there is to it. We're too hard to be treated like we're not even a part of the athletic department. So does Marshall Baseball not have lights in their field? That's what it seems like.
Did you look up what time the game started at?
I did not look up what time the game started at, but I'm looking at their stadium, and it looks like it either doesn't have lights, or if it does, it's not great lighting.
It's like they got one floodlight.
Yeah, it looks like they might be making a new one.
They should.
And they should definitely add some lights to it, because that's ridiculous. There's Little League fields with lights in it. Like, these are college players who bust their butt to play baseball, and
at the D1 level.
At the D1 level, and they can't get some lights. That's absolutely absurd to me. But I just wanted to talk about that because that just blew my mind when I saw that.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It honestly is absolutely ridiculous. Good?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's move to weekend recap. We're going to start with 6 Oklahoma State versus BYU. I had BYU taking this 2-1. What'd you have?
I had Oklahoma State.
Well, you were right.
I was a little nervous when BYU won on Thursday night.
Yeah, so when we were recording Thursday, BYU won that game 8-6. We talked about that. I do want to shout out my guy Reed McLaughlin again, who I talked about last episode. He got the save in that game. That was the 5th one of the season for him. So shout out to him.
That's going to be his only save of the series.
Yeah, unfortunately. Friday, Oklahoma State wins this game 3-0.
Yeah, 2 errors in the top of the 8th, load the bases for Oklahoma State, and a walk and a single later leads to them being up 3-0, and then that's pretty much the game.
Yeah, I do want to highlight Oklahoma State's pitching staff here.
Yeah, 2 hits.
3 pitchers would combine for 19 Ks, led by starting pitcher Justin Campbell, who I also highlighted. He went 6 innings pitched with 12 Ks, and then Trevor Martin would come in to earn the save, striking out all 3 batters he faced. So absolutely dominant performance for that Oklahoma State pitching staff.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
I mean, only allowing 2 hits and a shutout is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Saturday, Oklahoma State wins this game 8-5. I don't really have anything else for that.
Yeah, Chase Atkinson, he hits a 2-run double down the line to plate. 2 runs in the 4th with 2 runs in, and that's half the runs in 1 inning. So
I have two hitters of note that I want to shout out for each team. For Oklahoma State, I have second baseman Rock Riggio. He went 4 for 11, which
His
is
name's Rock.
Rock, ROC. He had a 364 average. He had 3 walks. He had a homer and 2 RBIs, but he had a pretty good weekend.
Also, I was watching
Did you watch any of these games?
I did not watch any of the Oklahoma State BYU.
So I watched the one game, and it was on Facebook Live, and the camera was way up, like in the press box. It was crazy to watch because you couldn't tell anything that was happening except for like when the ball was hitting in play.
I was watching the Campbell Liberty game the other day, and I saw the Liberty guy, 3 or whatever. I don't know his last name. 3
Hillier.
Yeah.
I
was like,
there
he wasn't lying.
Yeah. BYU. I want to mention Ryan Sepedy. I think that's how you say it. He only would start one game on Saturday, but he did go 2 for 7 with a 286 average, 1 home run and 4 RBIs. So he actually came in to pinch hit in the Thursday game, and he had a grand slam. So that's why I'm shouting him out.
Solid weekend.
Yeah. Next game we're going to talk about is 8 Florida State at Wake Forest.
I had Wake Forest.
I had Wake Forest 2-1 too.
Yeah.
So
it was close. They were close to winning that second or the third game.
Yeah. Game 2 of the doubleheader on Sunday. So there was a ton of crazy weather, like we kind of talked about starting off.
We had a crazy snowstorm here.
Yeah. So Friday night, Wake Forest wins this game 9-3. I want to highlight 2 Wake Forest hitters real quick. Rhett Lauder, who I mentioned in my preview, he went 6 innings pitched, allowed 2 earns on 5 hits, 4 based on balls. He only fanned 4, but that was good enough to get him the win. And then I want to shout out Danny Corona. He hit in the 9th spot, but he went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He had a dominant day, helping them get the win. And then I do want to give a little shout out to Florida State's pitcher, Parker Messick. He had 11 Ks, didn't have a altogether great day, but 11 Ks is absolutely filthy.
Yeah, Florida State, they're able to leave 12 on base that game. So that game is the final score is 6 runs out of their reach, but I mean, it might be a little bit closer if they don't leave 12 on.
Yep. Also,
the Wake Forest offense looked great against their ace. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday, the game was canceled. So Sunday, we get a doubleheader. Game 1, Florida State wins this 5-1. I want to highlight Florida State's pitching staff. Bryce Hubbard, who I gave a shout out to last episode, went 5.2 innings pitched, allowing 1 earned run on 1 hit, 5 walks. He had 9 Ks, and he picked up the win. The other guy I want to talk about is Jonah Scalaro. He would go 3.1 innings pitched, allowing 0 earned runs on 3 hits with 3 Ks to get the save.
And Florida State, Jamie Fair, I don't know if you saw his stat line. He goes 3 for 4 with 3 doubles on the day. So.
That's awesome. Game 2, Florida State wins this game 3-2.
This was the most exciting game of the series.
Yeah, all the runs for this one would come in the first 2 innings, though. That part was kind of boring. The pitching staff, again, I'm going to shout out Florida State's pitching staff again because they had another dominant day. Ross Dunn went 7 innings pitched, allowing 2 earned runs on 4 hits, 3 walks with 14 Ks to earn the win.
Yeah, he gives up 2 in the first, settles in nice and fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Devin Hare comes in, goes 2 innings pitched, allowing 0 earned runs on 1 hit with 4 Ks, and he gets a save as well.
Yeah, he struck out 4 of the 7 batters he faced.
Yeah.
To close out the game.
Insane.
That's just what you want in a closer.
Absolutely. My hitters of note, I already talked about Wake Forest. Danny Corona, I mean, he had that huge game on Friday, which helped them pick up the win. The other 2 games, he didn't do great. He went 0-8 in the other 2 games, but he was huge in that first one.
Yeah, their offense was kind of slow those second 2 games.
Yeah, I think that's more Florida State. I want to shout them out because their pitching staff, even Friday night, they didn't do great, but Parker Messick with 11 Ks, that's insane.
Something to build on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for Florida State, I want to shout out Logan Lacey. He went 4 for 12. That's a 333 average with 2 walks and 2 RBIs. Nothing too crazy, but he had a pretty decent weekend getting on base. So shout out to him.
Yeah, next we'll move into number 9 Notre Dame at NC State.
At 22 NC State at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so this is another one of those series where the Saturday game gets canceled. This one gets canceled like completely. They only play 2 games on the series.
Yep.
But Notre Dame takes both of them.
Yeah, so Friday, Notre Dame wins this game 8-4. This game was insane.
Who'd you have? Wait, who'd you have in the whole series?
So I had Notre Dame taking it 2-1. So I got the 2-part right, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So NC State would jump out to a 4-0 lead. Fighting Irish would rally, tie it, send it to extra innings. This game would go into 12 innings before Notre Dame had a huge inning, scoring 4 runs. Wild pitches and errors would kill the Wolfpack down in this inning, and that'd be the story for the end of this game.
That's what I told you. The errors were going to kill NC State.
Well, Sunday,
Tommy Tanks, though, before you move on to Sunday, on Friday, he goes 2 for 6 with 3 Ks, which is not very good at the top of your lineup, hitting second.
Yeah. Sunday, though, Notre Dame wins 11-4. Wild pitchers and errors are going to be the story of this game as well. 6 runs would be handed to Notre Dame in this one. I do want to highlight Notre Dame's pitching staff real quick. They only needed 2 pitchers. John Bertrand, who I mentioned last episode, he went 5 innings pitched, allowing 3 earned runs on 5 hits, 1 walk with 5 Ks, and he earned the dub. And then Temple Austin would go the other 4 innings.
Austin Temple.
Yeah. My bad. Sorry, Austin. That's on me. He would go 4 innings, allow 1 earned on 1 hit, 1 base on ball, with 4 Ks to earn him the save. So
yeah,
my hitters
first save of the season too.
Yeah, hitters of note for me. NC State. I'm gonna talk about Josh Hood. He went 2 for 8, 250 average with 1 home run and 4 RBIs. He did all right.
I have Carter Putz for Notre Dame. I don't know who you have.
I have Brooks Coates. I highlighted him last episode. He didn't do anything too crazy. He went 3 for 10 with 1 RBI, but 300 average isn't bad over a weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Carter Putz, first baseman for Notre Dame. He goes 4 for 9 with a homer and 3 ribbies. So their offense didn't put up the craziest numbers, but I feel like it was just kind of solid the whole way through the order.
Yeah, I think that's not the main story. I think the main story is NC State just killed themselves in these games.
Which is what's been happening to them all year.
Yeah, and it's at the point in the season where we're probably a fourth of the way through the season at this point. You got to start figuring that out now, because you're in the conference play at this point, and if you can't get it together, it's going to kill you.
Yeah, they're not going to be competing for the conference.
Yeah, if they keep this up. So
I mean, there's a conference tournament, but
yeah,
they could get hot at the end of the year, and
there's still a lot of baseball left, but you need to start figuring some errors and a ton of pass balls. You can't be having that happen.
Yeah,
you're not going to get it done.
Especially coming from where they were last year, in the semifinals of the College World Series.
Absolutely.
Next, we got Virginia Tech at 13, Georgia Tech.
I had Virginia Tech 2-1. What do you have?
I know I had Georgia Tech. I think I had them 2-1.
Okay.
I don't think I predicted any sweeps.
Okay. Well, Georgia Tech sweeps this.
Oh, that was my other social media post of the week.
Oh, yeah.
So after they win the game on Sunday in extras, the guy that walked it off is standing past first base with his arms up, and they tweeted out, "Are you not entertained?"
Oh, that's awesome. So Friday, Georgia Tech wins this game 9-8. This was an awesome game as well. These teams matched runs with 1 run in the first, 4 in the sixth. In the bottom of the 8th, Georgia Tech would get 2 runs, take a 7-5 lead. Virginia Tech would answer, though, with 3 in the top of the 9th. Georgia Tech's Stephen Reed would take a walk with the bases loaded to score a run, and then John Anderson would come in to pinch hit and score the game-running run with a single to right field. I do want to give a shout-out to Cade Hunter, the catcher for Virginia Tech. He went 2 for 4 with 1 base on ball. He had a home run and 5 RBIs in this game, so even though they didn't get the win, he had a huge day. Saturday, game gets canceled. And they push back to Sunday, so we get a doubleheader on Sunday. Game 1, Georgia Tech wins this game 12-6. Georgia Tech out-hit Virginia Tech in this game 17-10.
Yeah, this one wasn't really that close.
No.
In my notes I have, this is just another example of Georgia Tech showing their offensive firepower.
Yeah, Kevin Parada, huge day. Went
Like
three,
he's been.
yeah, went 3 for 4, 1 walk, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs. Game 2, Georgia Tech wins this one 7-6. So Georgia Tech would lead this one 5-1 going into the 7th. The Hokies would rally, scoring 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and then Cade Hunter would hit a solo home run to send it to extras. We'd have to wait until the 14th inning.
Did you see the home run?
No, I didn't see it.
It was a bomb off the batter's eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a long home run.
You got all of it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So we have to wait until the 14th to see some more runs in this one, when Nick Bidson would hit a single to left center to score Cade Swisher. And then the Yellow Jackets would get a run from a bunt to tie it. And then Trace Gonzalez would score Brandon Price to get the walk-off win and sweep this series. I do want to note, and this is just a fun note, between the two pitching staffs, there were 14 different pitchers. They would throw 504 total pitches combined, and they would have 37 combined Ks. Pretty crazy.
500.
Yeah. So I do want to, my hitters of note, I already mentioned the one guy, Cade Hunter. He ended up going 5 for 12 with 4 base on balls, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs.
Yeah, he had a monster series.
Yeah. And then Georgia Tech, I want to talk about Trace Gonzalez, who I just mentioned. He went 6 for 17 with 1 base on ball, 4 RBIs, and one of those being the walk-off win. So shout out to those 2 players.
All right, let's move to Michigan at Louisville.
What do you have?
I had Louisville. I think we both did.
Yeah, we both took Louisville 2-1 in the series.
So Friday night, Louisville wins 5-3.
Yeah, and so they schedule a doubleheader because of the incoming weather, right? So game 1, Louisville wins 5-3. I want to talk about Louisville pitcher Tate Kuhner, who I mentioned last episode. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 4 hit, 2 walks, earned the dub. So then we move to game 2, right?
Dalton Rushing, the catcher I mentioned, he hit a home run the first game on Friday. Too.
Nice. So then we move to the second game. Michigan leads this game 13-4 through 4 innings before the game was suspended due to weather. Michigan scores 10 runs in the top of the third.
That's the crookedest number I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's crazy. So then Saturday, we don't have a game. So Sunday, they pick it back up. Michigan ends up winning 16-7. I don't have much more to talk about for that game.
Yeah. I mean, they scored 16 runs.
Yeah. So game 3, Louisville absolutely dominates, wins this one 13-1. Louisville would score a run in every inning except the 6th.
Yeah, so they had 15 hits on the day, 5 of which were homers.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then the Louisville Cardinal pitchers, they give up 4 hits, only allow 1 run, and they get 12 strikeouts. So
yeah, I do want to mention these 2 hitters for Louisville. Ben Metzinger, who I mentioned in last episode, went 2 for 5, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. And then center fielder Levi Usher went 3 for 5, 1 home run and 4 RBIs. So Levi Usher is actually going to be my hitter of note for this series. He would go 7 for 12, which is a 583 average with 1 walk. He had 1 homer, 6 RBIs, and he had 5 stolen bases over there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And
that's who won.
He won ACC Player of the Week. So shout out to him. He had a huge week. I think he had another steal too during the other game they had.
The TCU game.
Yeah.
Cam Weston, the Michigan ace, his past 2 starts doesn't look too great.
No, he didn't look great, but I think he'll figure it out. It's not like, I forget how many, I want to say maybe give up 4.
Yeah, it gives up 4.
So,
I mean, he threw 6 and gave up 4, which isn't a horrible day, but like,
I think he just needs to settle in a little bit more. My hitter of note for Michigan was Jimmy Obertop. He's the catcher, 4 for 12, 333 average, 1 walk, 1 home run, and 4 RBI. So he had a pretty decent weekend.
How'd your honorable mention games go?
My pitchers did really well. Or I'm sorry, my honorable mention games.
Yeah,
they weren't that great. Nothing really to talk about there.
Gotcha.
For mine. So
I talked about Campbell Liberty in my honorable mentions game. This game, the Saturday game, also gets canceled, so they have a 2 games set. Campbell wins Friday night in kind of an upset fashion, like they've been doing. They're like 9-6 now on the year,
I
9-7,
yeah.
and then Liberty ends up winning the the Sunday game. But Zach Neto hits 3 homers on the series, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then the other series I had noted was USC at UCLA, the Battle of Los Angeles. This one was a good series. So USC wins on Friday, then loses on Sunday. UCLA wins the first game of the doubleheader on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then USC wins the rubber match on Sunday, which was pretty impressive because UCLA has been pretty hot, taking down
absolutely.
Texas and a couple other good squads.
I do want to mention real quick, Long Beach State takes a series against Gonzaga 2-1. So Long Beach State's kind of figuring it out. Looking like they might be LOL. Might be starting to hit their stride. So
LOL, really?
All right, let's move to top weekend performers. Do you want to start with pitchers?
Sure. I got Nate Savino.
Okay.
Virginia junior lefty. He goes complete game shut piece against their conference rival Duke. Collects 7 strikeouts, allows 5 hits, and the Cavaliers take down Duke 5-0 on Friday night.
Nice. My first guy I'm going to talk about is Drew Thorpe. He's a Cal Poly pitcher. He would go 9 innings pitched, give up 0 earned on 3 hits while getting 11 Ks to get the win on Friday against Harvard. My second guy I want to note is Colin Horton.
Another pitcher?
Yep. So I have 2 pitchers, 2 hitters again. So Colin Horton went
Here's a who?
Yeah, Horton Here's a who went 8.2 innings pitched, allowing 0 earned runs on 1 hit, 5 walks with 16 Ks against Youngstown State on Sunday. So pretty dominant.
16.
Yeah.
I only have 1 pitcher.
Okay.
So I have 2 hitters. You want me to go with both of them?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go ahead.
I got Jacob Walsh from Oregon.
Okay.
He doesn't have like the craziest weekend. He goes 7 for 16 with a double and a homer and 4 RBIs, but he was kind of a hot middle of the order bat for Oregon to take down number 5 Stanford. So
nice.
That's why I went with him.
I like it.
And then I got Caden Wallace.
Okay.
You got him too?
I don't have Caden Wallace, no.
Arkansas third baseman. I know you love Arkansas, so he goes 6 for 17 on the series. It's 3 homers, 13 ribbies, 2 stolen bases. I mean, that's a pretty good weekend. But what makes it even crazier is 2 of those home runs that he hit were grand slams.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right, so my hitters of the week. The first guy I already mentioned, Levi Usher, he gets a shout out for me. He's one of my hitters of the week. And then I have a duo actually for Boston College on Friday. They beat Miami 12-11. Without these 2 guys, they probably don't win. Cameron Leary, right fielder, goes 4 for 4 with a walk. He has 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. He also gets another run. And then second baseman Luke Gold would go 4 for 5, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. He also gets another run. So these 2 combined for 11 of the 12 runs for the Eagles. And then I'm gonna give an honorable mention shout out to Zach Neto, who we talked about. 2 games, he went 4 for 7, 571 average. He had 3 home runs and 5 RBIs on the series. So shout out to him.
That third home run he had in that last game was a shot. He pimped it too.
Yeah.
He had a nice bat flip.
To top 25 movement we go. Ole Miss is our new number 1. Texas is no longer number 1. So Ole Miss is number 1.
This is the first new number 1 we've had since the podcast started.
Yeah. So Ole Miss was sitting at 2. Now they're number 1. They went 3-1 over the last week. Took 2 of 1 from Oral Roberts this past weekend. So
yeah, huge victory for Oral Roberts too.
Yeah.
First victory as a program over a number 2 ranked team.
Yeah. So then Texas is now sitting at 2 from 1. Went 2-3 over the last week.
They had a rough week.
Yeah, they went 1-1 against Texas State, and then they lost 2 of 3 to South Carolina.
They're looking a little weaker now that they lost their pitcher, Tanner. I forget how you say his last name. Wilt?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Tanner Wilt. He's down for the year with an injury, so losing one of your best pitchers as the number 1 team in the nation isn't a good look.
Yeah. Oregon State is now sitting at 5. They were sitting at 7. They take 2 of 3 from Washington State this past weekend. What do you guys say about this?
We'll wait till the end.
Okay. So then Notre Dame is at number 6 from number 9. They went 3-0 this past week, beat Elon, and then they took 2 from NC State.
Yep. Then Tennessee is going to move from number 10 to number 7 after they sweep Rhode Island.
Yep, they went 5-0 last week and took 2 against James Madison as well.
They actually have the best record right now. They're sitting at 15-1. And then Florida State doesn't move. They stay at number 8 after they take 2 on the road against Wake Forest. That's kind of a tough look for them. No one ahead of them really stumbled enough for them to jump ahead of them.
Yeah. Florida is now sitting at number 9. They were sitting at 11. They went 3-1 this past week, beat Jacksonville, took 2 out of 3 from Seton Hall.
Georgia Tech moves 13-10. Talked about them earlier. Oklahoma State also is going to drop from number 6 to number 11. Talked about them earlier. They got swept last week by Gonzaga, and then they dropped 1 to BYU. So they probably should have dropped more last week, but they played that game after the rankings.
It was on Monday. So I think that probably plays into why they dropped this past week as much as they did.
Then Stanford drops from number 5 to number 12. They lose 2 of 3 against Oregon. This is a huge series for Oregon. They show that they can win a game in any fashion.
Yeah. Friday
night, they win a close bullpen game 4-3. Saturday, they win a slugfest 16-13. And then Stanford salvages 1 game on Sunday. So huge series for the Ducks.
Virginia is now ranked. They're 19th. They went 3-1 this last week, beat George Washington on Tuesday, then took 2 of 3 from Duke. Texas State is now number 22. They were unranked. They went 4-1 this last week. They split that 2-game set with Texas, and then they swept Southern.
Huge week.
Yep. And then our dropouts. Yeah. Unfortunately, Tulane, who's sitting at number 18, went 0-4, lost to Southern Miss on Wednesday, and then they get swept by Evansville. They drop out of the top 25.
I don't understand that.
I don't either. Evansville had 4 wins going into the series. And I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. But
we were FaceTiming yesterday talking about what we want to do for this episode, and then you were like, is Tulane about to lose to Evansville? Are they about to get swept by Evansville?
They did. And then NC State, who was sitting at number 22, they dropped out of the top 25. They went 1-2 this past week. They beat UNC Greensboro on Tuesday, but then they lost 2 games to Notre Dame. So that's the top 25. I do have some final thoughts for you.
I do as well.
Who do you think should be number 1? Because I don't know if I think Ole Miss should be number 1.
It should be either Ole Miss or Arkansas.
I think it should be Arkansas.
Arkansas, they kind of got off to a slower start. Like their offense wasn't like banging like they were last year.
Yeah. And the reason I'm picking Arkansas here for number 1 for me is
because you love them.
That and no, they go 4-0 this past week. Ole Miss loses to Oral Roberts. I just can't wrap my head around why they're sitting at the number 1 spot right now. I don't think they should be number 1. I think Arkansas should be number 1.
That's not the only gripe I have with the rankings. I don't understand why Oregon State is at number 5.
Where do you think they should be?
I think they should be at least 8.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame should be ahead of them.
Yeah. Tennessee should be.
Tennessee should be ahead of them. Florida State should be ahead of them.
I don't know. Florida State's 10-5 though, dude.
But they took 2 of 3 on the road against Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Who had the best record in the ACC.
Yeah. I think Wake Forest not being ranked doesn't. If Wake Forest is ranked, I think maybe they have more of a case, but
I honestly could see Florida being ranked above Oregon State.
Yeah,
I think they have a better resume. Like what did Oregon State do this weekend that made them jump from 7 to 5? They beat Washington State twice.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think their resume is that impressive.
I agree with you. I mean, they don't have anyone coming up. I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday, they have Grand Canyon. and then they'll play Arizona State this weekend. So, I mean, if they can string together a couple of wins, maybe they'll prove
It'll be
themselves more.
justified, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, UConn is like a big week away from being in the top 25 in my opinion.
I agree with that. Yeah. They're sitting at 11-2, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that can take us into our midweek preview.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start with Tuesday. We have number 8 Florida State at number 9 Florida. Florida State is 10-5, just took 2 of 3 from Wake Forest. Florida is 13-4, just took 2 of 3 from Seton Hall. I'm taking the Gators.
I'm taking Florida too.
I'm keeping the Florida State slander going. They keep throwing it back in my face, but maybe that's a bad look for Florida. But I think Florida's gonna they'll do me right this time. I feel it.
I think so too. I think Florida State definitely emptied the tank this weekend against Wake Forest. Florida got they had a good series last week against Seton Hall to kind of grease up their wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a better squad offensively and on the mound. I think they'll have their way with Florida State.
Next game is Tulane at 13 LSU. Tulane is 10-6, have lost 4 straight. LSU is 13-3, have won 4 straight. I'm taking LSU here. I don't think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, you would have to be a crazy person to pick
Tulane at this point. Yeah. Next game is UConn at USC. UConn is 11-2, just took 2 of 3 from Pepperdine. USC is 11-3, just took 2 of 3 from UCLA.
What's the I think we should call Pepperdine the school from the Zoe 101 show because that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what the name is.
Melissa, what is it? What's the school that they go to in Zoe 101? What is it?
Yeah, I think that's it. Pacific Coast Academy. Thank you. So with that being said, I think USC is going to take this first one.
Yeah, I'm taking USC too.
Okay. So why I said first one, well, Wednesday we're going to highlight UConn again. So UConn will be playing Long Beach State.
They got a West Coast travel week.
Yep. UConn would be 11-3 if they lose on Tuesday. Long Beach State is going to be 7-7, just took 2 of 3 from Gonzaga. I think I want to take the Huskies here though.
I don't.
No.
I think they're like not overrated.
You just said you think they're a big week away from getting in the top 25.
Yeah, but their record would show that.
Yeah.
If they win, who have they played though? They haven't played anybody.
No, but they're about to play some people.
Yeah, and they're a big week away from being in the top 25.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't think they're gonna win.
I don't hate that pick.
I think Long Beach State will win. They're hot.
Yeah.
They just took 2 or 3 against Gonzaga. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Dallas Baptist at 11 Oklahoma State. Dallas Baptist is 9-6. They just swept Southern Miss. Oklahoma State is 9-6 as well. They just took 2 of 3 from BYU. I'm taking the upset here. I'm taking Dallas Baptist.
So am I.
Are you? Yeah. I gotta have one. I think Dallas Baptist just took a huge series against Southern Miss, and I think that's gonna put them in the right spot, and I think they can beat the Cowboys here.
Yeah, Southern Miss is a good team too.
Yeah.
Next game we have is 11-4 Miami at 11-5 UCF. I think this will probably be the most fun matchup out of all these, in my opinion.
Okay.
Actually, nah. I think the Florida is probably the best matchup.
Yeah.
But I think this takes a close second. I'm gonna go with UCF.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm taking Miami here.
I think UCF is a better pitching and defensive team.
Okay.
Miami obviously has better hitting, but if UCF can slow down their bats a little during this midweek matchup, I think they can win it.
Okay. So conference previews. We only have a couple. We have what? This episode, next episode, and one more. So we're almost done. We promise. Yes. But we have 2 really good conferences here today. So let's get right into it. Pac-12, Arizona won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have winning it this year?
I got Arizona repeating.
Wow.
Yeah. Surprise, right?
No, that's not super surprising, but I'm not surprised because you're home. That's a homer pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like them.
Yeah.
They are one of my top 3 teams.
I know.
They win the conference last year, play in the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Most of their starting lineup this year are kind of new to their roles. Their starters played last year. They weren't starters though, most of them. despite losing a lot of their leaders on their team, I still think they returned one of their best players, one of the best players in the conference, and they got to learn from a lot of those older leaders that they had last year. Best player I'm talking about is going to be Daniel Susak, who returns. He is going to be the 2021 Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, third-team All-American, Buster Posey National Collegiate Catcher of the Year semifinalist, 2022 Bobby Bragging Collegiate Slugger Award watch list, Golden Spikes Award preseason watch list, and National College Baseball Writers Association first team preseason All-American. He hit .335 last year with a .392 on base and a .591 slug, 12 homers, and 65 RBIs. He is easily the best catching prospect in the draft.
Yeah.
He had a .996 fielding percentage last year as a catcher.
That's insane.
And yeah, probably the best player in the conference. They also have junior shortstop Nick McLowry, who hit .316 last year, got on base at a .412 clip and a .401 slug. Also had a less impressive 32 RBIs, but still a good year.
Yeah. Is that it?
Well, I think Stanford obviously is very good.
Okay, so Stanford's my pick. So I'm taking Stanford. They lost in the College World Series to runner-up Vanderbilt last year. They lose 2 key arms, but return a ton of other guys, including Quinn Matthews and Alex Williams, who combined for 25 starts last year. This team brings back hitters who can hit the ball everywhere.
Brock Jones.
I'm going to talk about him. Yes, this team is talented, and I think they're far and away the best team in this conference. I don't think anyone competes with them.
Okay.
I think this team has enough star power to get them back to the College World Series and maybe get them far. So first guy.
That didn't sound very confident.
I think they can get pretty far.
I think they can maybe get far.
I think the Cardinals are a very good team. So the first guy I want to talk about is Brock Jones, junior center fielder. He's the 5th-ranked prospect in the 2022 MLB draft for college players. USA Baseball Golden Spikes Award watch list. 2021 honors include 2nd-team All-American for Baseball America, D1 Baseball, Perfect Game, and the ABCA. 2021 stats through 56 games, hit .311, had a .453 on base percentage, had 18 home runs, 62 RBIs, and then he also got 14 stolen bases. So he's got
646 slug too.
Yeah, gross. Next guy I want to talk about is Drew Bowser. I love this last name, Bowser. Oh, it just sounds good. Sophomore infielder. He's the 18th ranked prospect in the 2023 MLB draft for college players. Last year, through 52 games, hit .302 average with 7 home runs, 41 RBIs. And then the last guy I want to talk about is Drew Dodd. He's a sophomore lefty pitcher. His stats last year don't blow you away. 19 appearances, 6 starts, went 37.1 innings pitched with a 6.99 ERA with 37 Ks. So it's not a great stat line, but this Cardinal coaching staff was very high on him going into the season. So far this year, through 3 starts, it's 2-0. He's gone 13 innings pitched, 1.38 ERA with 13 Ks. So I think we got to keep an eye on him. I think he could be filthy.
I think the thing with Stanford is that they don't have a ton of pitching depth, which
I could see that being a problem.
Which, some people might say that pitching is going to win you championships.
Yeah, that's why I said I think they can get to the College World Series and maybe a little bit farther.
Well, I just don't think it'll be enough to win the Pac-12 championship. So
I think it will be.
I like Oregon though. I think Oregon is a good sleeper team as well.
Okay.
I mean, I thought this before they beat Stanford this past weekend, but I think they're a good team.
My sleeper team is UCLA. They have one of the best coaches in the country.
Surprise.
John Savage. Just got the #1 recruiting class in the country. It's a young roster, but I think if they mature quickly through the season.
I mean, if they're playing a lot, they're going to be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those guys are, and I think this team could be very good, and I think they'll definitely make the regionals. Do you have anyone else, or can we move to the Patriot?
I'm down with moving to the Patriot.
All right, let's move to the Patriot. Last year, it was Army who won this. Who do you think it's going to be this year?
I think Army is going to repeat.
Okay, I wanted to take Army, but I didn't take Army.
You probably took Navy.
No, I didn't take Navy.
So they won the conference the past 3 seasons.
Mhm.
They have a good weekend rotation with a lot of experience. They return a senior, a sophomore, and a junior. They also return their junior first baseman, Ross Reddick, who led the team in average and on OPS last season
Mhm.
at 322 and 927. So I think Army's a good team.
Okay.
And
I
gonna
watched
win the conference.
I watched them the other day when they played TCU, and they're fun to watch.
Mhm.
So I think that's a good pick. I'm gonna pick Lehigh though here.
You went with the in-state pick?
Yeah,
I thought about
I
taking
think
them.
this team is talented. They have a ton of good hitters, good pitchers. They have a good mix of core veterans and young talented players. I think they'll make the push to win this conference. 2 guys I want to note: Casey Rother, senior outfielder. He was the 2021 Patriot League Player of the Year. Last year, through 42 games, hit 329, 422 on base percentage with 6 home runs and 34 RBIs. The second guy I want to mention is Luke Reddick. He's a senior lefty. Last year, through 13 appearances, 9 starts, had a 3.59 ERA over 62.2 innings pitched with 62 Ks. So about a K every inning, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention those pitchers' names for Army. Anthony Larico is the senior. Connolly Early is the sophomore.
Connolly.
And Early too.
That's okay.
And junior Patrick Malampy.
Say again.
Patrick Malampy.
Wow.
Probably.
That's a name.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the SEC. Arkansas took this last year.
The SEC, I have 2 things to say. By far the best conference in college baseball.
Yeah.
Because of that, comparing this conference to other ones is so different because, like, these teams will lose, like, top 10 picks in the draft, but they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, other conferences, like, teams will lose a top 10 pick and they have to completely reset their roster.
Yeah. I think it's a given that half of these teams are probably going to make it to regionals still, which is just insane to think about.
It is.
So let's start with the East. I have Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah. So I took Tennessee. They made it to the College World Series last season. I think if everything comes together this year, which at this point it has, I think they can make a run to Omaha again. They have a lot of power in their hitting and a lot of velocity in their pitching, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, they got like a couple guys that hit triple digits.
Yeah. So I do want to mention a few players real quick. First guy I'm going to talk about is Blake Tidwell. He's a sophomore starting pitcher. 2021 USA Baseball Collegiate Team. He's the 15th ranked prospect in 2022 MLB draft for college players. He currently isn't pitching right now because he has some shoulder soreness, so he's out for a little bit. But last year, 18 appearances, went 10-3, 98.2 innings pitched, 3.74 ERA with 90 Ks. So with him being hurt, I do want to mention one guy real quick, Chase Burns. He's a freshman pitcher.
He's one of those guys touching 100, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So he's the 5th ranked incoming freshman in the SEC. He's number 1 for Tennessee. He was taken in the 20th round by the Padres last year, but he came to play for Tennessee.
The Friars.
Yeah, he's the 5th ranked right-handed pitcher by perfect game.
5th?
Yeah, for incoming freshman.
5th?
Yeah, the 5th one. So, but so far this year with Tidwell being out, he's come out of the gate very strong. He's gone 20 innings pitched over 4 starts, going 3-0. He has a 0.45
I didn't know we were taking current stats into
ERA with 25 Ks. And he pitched against Texas, went 5 innings pitched, allowing 1 earned run on 2 hits, 1 walk with 10 Ks. I don't do it for every player, but like.
So for the one it benefits you.
Exactly, yes. And then the last guy I want to talk about real quick, Jordan Beck, junior outfielder, 17th ranked prospect in the 2022 MLB draft. He was drafted in the 14th round in 2019 by my Boston Red Sox. So I'm rooting for Jordan Beck, baby. He's also a 2022 Golden Spikes Award preseason watch list. They might, you don't know. 2021 stats. Through 67 games, hit 271 average.
So now we're specifying 2021 stats.
Yeah, I just got to make sure. 336 on base percentage with 15 home runs and 64 RBIs. You take it now. You go ahead. Stop coming at me, but oh man.
I picked my teams, and then at the bottom of my list, I have teams that could do it. Yeah. Tennessee was one of those teams for me.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee and Vandy have a very good shot at winning the East.
Yeah, I think Vandy's a very good team as well.
That being said, I'm going with the Gators.
Are you going with the Gators?
Yeah,
What?
I'm going with the Gators. So Florida brings in a huge portion of their regional core from last year. They kind of got upset in that first round of the regionals last year. Then they bring in the number 2 recruiting class in the country. Their roster is deep. Like, if any of these guys go down, they're going to be just fine. Hunter Barco, who we've talked about before, sophomore lefty, 83 innings last year, 8 up innings for Florida. He's going to be their ace. His stats weren't too crazy. He had a 4.01 ERA. He'll get that knocked down with a little more experience this year as a sophomore. Sterling Thompson, we've talked about him before. Sophomore outfielder, hit 301, 396 on base, 470 slug. And Judd Fabian, a junior outfielder who hit 20 bombs last year.
Nice.
I think they're definitely not as star-studded as a lot of these other teams in the SEC are, but throughout a season, you have so many injuries that happen, whether it's for the year or for a week or two. Florida's going to have the ability to plug and play whenever they want. So that's why I'm taking them to win the conference.
The conference in general, or just the East?
Wait. Yeah, just the East.
Okay.
Just the East.
So let's move to the West real quick before you get too crazy. I'm taking Arkansas. So last year they win 50 games. They get knocked out of the Super Regionals by NC State. I think the Hogs are going to be rolling again this year, baby. I think this team has offensive firepower. They play defense, great defensively. I think this pitching staff is deep and full of talent. They have potential first-round picks all over the board. And I think this team is going to go very, very far this year.
They're nasty.
They're filthy.
Taylor Battles is nasty.
I didn't even mention him. But the people I did mention, Robert Moore, right? Junior infielder. He's the 10th ranked prospect in the 2022 MLB draft. He had second team honors for Baseball America and ABCA last year. Through 61 games, hit 283 average, 384 on base percentage with 16 home runs and 53 RBIs. Next guy I want to talk about, Jackson Wiggins, sophomore starting pitcher, 6th ranked prospect in the 2023 MLB draft. Through 17 appearances last year, made 4 starts, went 23 innings pitched, 5.09 ERA, which I think he'll get down. With 28 Ks, he also had 4 saves. I think
5.09.
Yeah, I think you got to keep an eye on that. I think he'll be all right. And then the last guy I want to talk about real quick is Peyton Stovall. I think that's how you say it. Freshman infielder. He was the number 1 prospect in the SEC. Prep Baseball had him as the number 1 recruit in the state of Louisiana. I think he's going to have an amazing year.
I don't have Arkansas.
Who do you have?
Hotty toddy, baby. I got the Rebels. This team can bang with the best of them.
Yeah.
Their offense is good. I think their pitching is better than Arkansas. They got Josh Gaddis coming in from Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Crispy.
He at Corpus Christi had a 2.
Corpus Crispy.
Yeah. That's what you call him.
Corpus Christi.
At Corpus Christi, he had a 2.25 ERA over 65 innings pitched. They also have Jacob Gonzalez, a sophomore shortstop, who is the 2nd ranked college prospect in the 2023 MLB draft. And that might just be the SEC.
I'll look for you.
Anyways, he hit 355 last year, 443 on base with a 561 slug, 12 homers, 55 ribbies.
He's 2nd.
Yeah, he's a monster. And then Kevin Graham, he had basically the same exact slash line as Jacob Gonzalez, a junior left fielder. Ole Miss is just as good as Arkansas. They'll have a lot of fun battles, I think.
I think, when those two teams play, it's going to be fun. So I do have one more team I want to mention at the end, but at the end. But I want to talk. Who do you think is going to take the SEC?
I think Ole Miss is going to take it.
Okay, so you're
actually win the conference tournament.
Yeah.
I guess I'll say Ole Miss, but
Okay.
I really wanted to pick Tennessee through this whole process because
Yeah.
I love Tennessee.
I like Tennessee as well, but I'm taking Arkansas to repeat. I think they're just too filthy.
They are nasty.
So I want to mention LSU quick. I think they're going to be a regional team for sure. They have the number one prospect in 2022 in Jacob Berry, and then the number one prospect in 2023 in Dylan Cruz. They lose to Tennessee in the Super Regional last year, but this team is led by star-studded hitters. Trey Morgan, who's an amazing hitter as well, gets overshadowed by those other two guys. Their pitching staff is full of depth and talent as well, and I think this team can definitely make it to Omaha if they string it together.
There's so many good teams in the
Yeah.
SEC.
So
Like any of these teams could potentially win the whole thing.
they could have some Omaha dreams, baby.
Yeah. Like Mississippi State is the defending champions.
Yeah, they. Do you want to
Speaking
talk
of
about
which,
them
yeah.
real quick?
Lucas Sims out for the year.
Yep, and then they lose. Hold on 1 second. You keep talking, I'll figure out who it was.
Yeah, Lucas Sims.
It's another pitcher. They both go down to UCL tears, which is that's just terrible. But
Yeah, they already weren't looking good, so this is just them getting kicked while they're down, basically.
yeah,
They had been struggling mightily.
yeah. The other guy is. Why can I not find it? Oh, Stone Simmons, another pitcher. Both have UCL tears that are gonna need Tommy John surgery. So, best wishes to those two guys. Hope for a speedy recovery for
Yeah,
them.
Lucas Sims had the potential to be, the top pitcher.
Landon Sims, yeah.
What did I say?
Lucas.
Yeah, Landon Sims had the potential to be one of the first pitchers, if not the first pitcher taken in the draft. So that's
Yeah, it's tough for Mississippi State. But
yeah, not only them, him,
Yeah.
especially.
I think he'll come back next year and he can probably work it out. So we'll see. Do you have anyone else you want to talk about?
Nah, Vandy's nasty too.
Yeah.
That's really about it.
All right. Well, let's finish it up then for today. So make sure to follow us on Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us the thumbs up.
Hit the bell for notifications.
And then follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Omaha Dreams Pod. We'll see you on Friday.
See you Friday.